All right, looks like everything is working. So StreamYard. Let me put up my little banner. Reading Shift Your Mind, Shift the World by Steve Chandler. Today, chapter 74 is really long compared to all the other chapters. So I'm just going to read 74, okay? So let's see if we can get through that. And then I have some errands to run still tonight. So, chapter 74. Well, what do you expect? If you are a person who walks around with expectations of other people, only two things can happen, and neither of them is good. One, people don't live up to your expectation. Well, that's not fun. You're disappointed. Sometimes you're even feeling betrayed if it was a serious expectation. The other thing that can happen is that they do live up to it. Now what? Well, you're just neutral. Nothing. You expected it. So you say, Daisy showed up to the meeting on time, you think. But that's what I expected. So what? So you either have so what, which is a life of boring nothingness, or you have disappointment. Those are your two experiences of other people. We all know people whose main concert conversational theme is their disappointment in others. If they were in the movie Dances with Wolves, their Indian name would be Disappointed in Others. I'm so disappointed in my son. I'm so disappointed in my managing partner. I'm so disappointed in my spouse. I feel betrayed by my ex-spouse. Totally betrayed. That's life in a world of expectations. Riding high in April, shot down in May. But expectations are not necessary. You can live without them quite happily. You have agreements or you don't. And that becomes total freedom. Talk about a mind shift. It's actually possible to have no expectations of anyone. I can just relax and only have agreements when you want them. What an expected pleasure life is to a child. Have you ever watched a child running around discovering things? That's how we were meant to live. We think as we watch them. What happens to us as we grow older? Why do we lose that ongoing sense of unexpected pleasure? I believe it is because our expectations start to accumulate and weigh us down. When we accumulate enough of them, life becomes unbearable. A lot of times, my work involves coaching clients who are having problems with their partner, their spouse, their life partner, whatever is the politically correct way to say it these days. They're having trouble with love. They might have had a fight with their partner, and so today in the coaching session at their office, they're gloomy. I sit down and we're talking about productivity, performance, and profit, but they're not having fun with this. So I finally say, what's going on? And they say, well, I had a fight with my wife and I'm kind of depressed today. Now, it's really important to see that expectation versus agreement is an even more useful mind shift in personal relationships than it is at work. In personal relationships, the more expectations I have, the more anxious, fearful, and depressed I will be with my family because my family members are just innocently going around being human. So they can't be causing all this pain. It must be something else. And it is. It's expectation. Because if I have no expectations, I really can't be upset. If I don't expect my dog to make me dinner, I'm never upset when he doesn't. Is it possible to have no expectations of the people you care most about? I've worked with people who have learned to do it, to go home and walk into their house and be carrying absolutely no expectations whatsoever of any person in that home. When you have no expectations, the only thing that's possible is fresh adventure, continuous surprise. If your loved one does something nice for you, what a nice surprise. If he says something nice and you didn't expect anything, you are living in pure delight. If he says something negative or edgy, it doesn't floor you because you didn't expect anything. It's easier to get to neutral if you start in neutral. You're already there. Most people spend most of their emotional lives fighting to get from upset to neutral so they can have a civil discussion. It's much easier to be accepting of others if that's where you begin. When you don't expect anything with you to begin with, you can flow with whatever is said and whatever you want to, and whenever you want to, you can let the words roll off of you like water off a duck. Soon, your loved ones are realizing that you are not continuously disappointed in them. What freedom that gives them to relate to you in more open and positive ways. How easy to create an agreement from that position. A lot of people think if I have negative feelings, if I'm judging someone critically, if I'm upset with someone, it's healthy to just say it. It's healthy to judge and attack sometimes. It's healthy even to hurt someone else because that takes the hurt out of me. And if I say something hurtful to you, it's because the hurt in me needs to find another place to go. But how sensible and loving is that really? I had a client who said he had a fight with his wife, and I asked him, "How was it?" And he said, "Well, you've had those." And I said, "No, I really haven't." "Oh, come on," he said. I said, "I really haven't. Kathy and I, Kathy and I have been together for over 25 years, and we've never had what people would call a fight." He said, "Well, oh, yeah, okay. I forgot. You're a saint, right? But I'm not. I'm a regular person." "No, no, it's not that. I'm not a saint at all. In fact, if you look at my biography, I probably shouldn't be allowed to walk the earth a free man. So I'm not a saint. But I'll tell you that I don't fight with her, and it's for the same reason that I don't punch the pizza delivery boy when he's late, or I don't strangle a cat in my backyard and kill it. Same exact reason. I don't want to. I've decided that is not the kind of thing I want to do. So I won't do it. It's not useful. Some people say that fights are great. They clear the air, they purge things. They're so wonderful. They make life worth living. But the only people I've ever heard say this are now divorced. Because no, fights are not wonderful. They're hurtful. They can be unforgettably hurtful. And they're mean and they're selfish. It's like two children just scratching each other's eyes out. Two tantrums indulged together. you can lose your vision that way. So, even in personal relationships, expectations are toxic and they serve no purpose. If they served a purpose, I'd be open to having them. But it's depressing to walk around with a ton of expectations for other human beings. If I'm a true leader and you're constantly late for my team meeting, that's on me. That's my lack of leadership. I have not taken the time to create a strong agreement with you. Then I'm too much of an ignoramus to see that I can take positive and constructive responsibility for the fact that I have a team that thinks it's okay to stroll in late to meetings. I'm too much of a victim thinker. I make that all about you, and I even say to you the E word. I expect you to be on time. What happens when I use the E word? When most people hear the word expectation, they go down the ladder into a very rebellious, nasty state. Whenever they hear the word, try it out. When people start telling you what they expect of you, feel how you feel it in the pit of your stomach. Feel how you tense up and get defensive right away. It doesn't bring people closer, it drives them apart. Let's say you show up late for the meeting and I call you aside later. I don't want to embarrass you in front of the whole room. And I say, I expect you to be on time for our meetings. Whenever you hear what some other superior human being expects of you, notice the feeling in your body. Is it warm? Does it open you? Do you feel like embracing that person? No. What usually happens when you hear the E word, expectation, is you get a knot in your stomach. You clench up, you get tight, you contract, and you start building your defense. You begin to defend against what the other person expects. Human beings know, intuitively and deep down, that they were not put on this planet to live up to the expectations of others. Therefore, whenever you use the expectation word, you inspire subtle rebellion. And now there's less likelihood that what you expect will happen. Less likelihood by expecting it. So by expecting something to happen, you make it not happen. I've never seen expectations work. I've never witnessed any kind of positive benefit they have in any relationship, personal or otherwise. I've never even I've never seen expectations bring people closer together. I've never seen an expectation make one partner more faithful. I've never seen it do anything but alienate every time it is used inside the human system. When I have what I have seen work beautifully on the other hand is agreements. Human beings do not like breaking their word, and I mean all human beings, including animals. You know the loyalty oath. You know that honor among thieves is more than a concept. It's very real. It wasn't just made up by novelists and screenwriters. People will want to keep their word. For the last 10 years, I've worked with leaders who move away from leading people through expectations and move over to agreements. They are very surprised. They have told me, I don't think he'll keep the agreement. And they were pleasantly surprised. And if he does break the agreement and doesn't keep his own word, then that's a beautiful opportunity to have another, more basic discussion. to check whether that agreement was two-sided, a true agreement. That can be a very powerful conversation. When you give me your word, will you keep it? Can I count on it? Will you not give me your word if you don't intend to keep it? Can we start there? Because if we don't have that fundamental agreement, how can we have a relationship? If someone will actually tell you that their word means nothing, that they are going to lie to you, that they are going to tell you that they are going to do something and then not do it, you can't have that person even as an employee because the basic social contract is not there. We count on our words meaning something. People will keep their agreements such a high percentage of the time, you don't need to worry about the few times they don't. And the times when they don't are such wonderful opportunities to sit down with them and say, let's look at our basic relationship with each other and how we can start over with a change of heart. Do any of these futilities sound familiar? I expect you to make me feel romantic and attractive. Expect you to make me feel appreciated. I expect you to make me feel loved and celebrated for bringing money home. I expect you to make me feel how I want to feel. If I walk into a conversation expecting something of the conversation, I can't be open to all possibilities anymore. I can't listen generously to the other person. I can't be surprised or surprising. I can't really have fun. I can't be compassionate and discover new things about you. It's running into someone or something unexpectedly that is the most fun in life. What an unexpected pleasure. People say people say when they see you on the street, giving the secret of happy relationships away right there. But can we hear them when they say it? Are we really listening? What an unexpected pleasure. There's no pleasure like it, an unexpected pleasure. Life can be filled with unexpected pleasures. When you allow this shift in your mind, you find this out again. And the beauty of shifting away from expectations is that I shift away from being at the mercy and at the effect of everyone else. I now take full responsibility for my happiness, for my financial well being, for my energy level. It's back to me. It's not on you anymore. And the good thing about it being back to me is that I'm the only one I can really work on anyway. All right, guys, that was a really long chapter. I'm gonna end it here, and next time we'll do chapter 75. All right, guys. Something new next week. Stay tuned.